Hello everyone and welcome to another Wizard101 video. Today I'm going to be doing a complete guide for a beginner in Wizard101. Now, what do I mean by that? I basically mean some tips and tricks to help you start out when you first get into the game. So when you first launch into the game, you will be a level 1. You'll spawn in Merle Ambrose's office. He'll be like, "Young wizard, you must go help Unicorn Way." You go to Unicorn Way. You do some quests. Now, first trick, which is funny because it's not even really a trick, is that you'll notice one of the first quests now is to defeat a skeletal pirate. When you get that, not Gloria Crendel, I forget what her name is, Olivia Dawnfellow or something. Basically, there's a woman in here, if this loading screen would load, right over here, that also gives a quest that has a defeat skeletal pirate. Olivia Dawnwillow. So once you get that quest from Private Orion or Private Connolly, I think it's Private Connolly, go over here, accept this quest, and then when you beat the skeletal pirates, then you'll get both at the same time. So you actually get like 80 XP rather than the only 30 or 40 of the main quest. So this isn't just a tip and trick for Unicorn Way. This is throughout the entire game. If you see another quest that has an identical defeat enemy to the one you currently have, you should pick that up because it means that you can kill two birds with one stone. You can beat both of the enemies at the same time and collect for both quests. Now, the one instance I can think of that's very similar to this is that there's two side quests in Krakatopia where you have to beat charmed slaves, and defeating these charmed slaves will work two at the same time. So another thing that I would recommend you do is make sure you always fill up on potions. Potions are incredibly useful because they heal up your full health, full mana, and when you do that, it's obviously useful in battle. I would always recommend having a potion in a dungeon or like before a boss fight. Another thing I would recommend you do is come over to Zeke here and collect his quest. So he has a quest that is to kind of find unique things throughout every single world. So in Wizard City, you have to find these thing called the Smiths, which one of them is right up here. I actually have a guide video for every single one of these. If you guys ever need to find that, that playlist is up on my channel. So they look like this. They're scattered throughout Wizard City. This will get you something called a training point. Now, you'll notice you have these training points here. What those are is basically that every spell that is not of your school that you want to learn requires a training point. Now, something I want to highly stress to literally every new player is do not learn two schools. Don't go for dual mastery because it is entirely useless, because when you later go on, you'll notice you have these things called power pips. See how I have an 18% chance of getting them? That will get way higher towards the end of the game. And a 4-pip spell, such as, so say you have a Storm Shark, which is 3 pips. You could use a power pip and a normal pip as a storm to do that, right? But if you had, say, Banshee, which is the level 3 death school spell, you would need 3 normal pips, power pips, anything, just 3 of the same, and that will take more pips to use in the long run, so it's basically useless. Now, if there was one thing I would recommend training to, and this isn't to say fully train it, I would just train this much, go up to Faint in Death, because as you can see, this does plus 70 trap, this is one of the most useful spells throughout the entire game, because it makes it so that it's much easier to defeat anything. Because when you're using a blade and a trap, that can really help speed things along. A plus 70 is very important, and that's why I'd recommend taking Death. If you want to be more resisting and stuff, I would recommend taking Ice, which has Tower Shield at, I think it's level 16 or 22, one of the two. So that's what I would recommend real quick for anyone who's out there. Don't pick a second mastery. Don't do it. It's useless. Next thing I want to recommend is coming to the bazaar. over here, which is where you'll be getting all of your gear throughout the game. The bazaar is incredibly important for all wizards. You go here, you press X, click on hat, robe, boots, anything, click on usable, and then click highest level twice, and then click school. And you can see all the gear that's most useful for you. I would pick the stuff that has the most health and the most damage. When you're first starting the game, you won't come here until like level 5, and you'll notice at level 5 you have a hat right here, 119 gold, and you may be asking, where do you get the gold? Well, you get the gold from the sell tab. You click on sell, you look at the gear you have that you don't want and can't use. So for example, this is life school only, can't use it, I sell it, I get 500 gold. It's as simple as that. You sell things and then you buy them to get more gold. Now, if you run out of gold, you can do quests to get gold. You can farm for gear and get gold that way, or you can just wait a little bit longer throughout the game and then get more gold that way. And that's what I would recommend doing highly. Next thing that's very important for you and for anyone is that they'll be wanting to know how to get a mount. So a mount will give you plus 40% walking speed, which is incredibly fast. You'll notice that when you go through the game, they'll give you a free like 24-hour plus 20% broom, which isn't as good as other things, but if you don't have a mount, it's better than anything, or they're better than nothing at all. Now you'll notice through here, you'll notice that there's a lot of mounts. It costs at least $10 for a mount. You'll notice that they're all above 5,000. If you have the money to buy it, go ahead, buy it, make it easier for yourself. If you don't, however, there are mounts, as you can see here, that you can buy for gold. Now, it may look daunting at first to see a 50,000 price tag slapped onto something, but 50,000 gold is actually incredibly easy to get to in the late game. So if you get to Dragonspire or Celestia, you can get to 50,000 gold incredibly easy, and you can farm that up, buy the chestnut pony, buy the enchanted broom, so on and so forth. That's useful for anyone to know. It's the same with houses. You can actually buy a house for gold, which a lot of people, I feel like, don't really, I mean, they might know this, but it's kind of like, if you don't look, you won't notice. Like, for example, the jungle houseboat also only costs 50,000 gold. So that's what I would recommend you to do if you don't have a mount and you need it. That's another helpful trick. A few final things that I would recommend is that now in the game is that every single quest you complete throughout the game, you'll notice that you get +4 pet XP. Now, why is this important? Pets, once you get a pet up to adult, you can hatch it, and +4 will take about a few hundred quests. So, like, up until you do Marleybone to get to adult, I think, which is useful, because once you get a pet up to adult, I wouldn't recommend the first pet that they give you, by the way. I would recommend just buying a pet from the shop or something, and then go over to this hatching kiosk, right? Hatching day is Wednesday. So basically, then go to browse pets, and then search for pet talents. Now, what you want to do here is you want to type in the word dealer, or something like that. Pick what school you are. So, for example, this account is Storm. I want that, and then I want proof, which is spell proof, which gives +20 resist. So I search for all of these talents, right? And then I will get all of the pets that have these talents. You basically want to hatch with these, and then you can train up pets over here until you get the right pet. So as you can see, my Storm pet, I would have preferred to get Giver on it or get Storm Dealer, but I got Critical, which isn't the worst. It isn't the worst thing in the world. And this pet will help me greatly through the game because I have +15 resist from it. So I would recommend anyone to do that if they can. Even just one of these talents is incredibly helpful. Even if it's only 5% resist. 5% resist is actually pretty useful in the long run. People might not think so, but it really is in this game. So those are some basic kind of tips. I'm trying to think of anything else that is incredibly useful. I think the only thing other thing I would recommend doing is making sure that when you go through the game, you do side quests to keep yourself a higher level. I've said this before in a few of my videos. I recommend always keeping like anywhere in between 3 to 5 levels higher than where you're meant to be. So for example, when you're done with Wizard City, if you do Colossus Boulevard over here, which is a little bit challenging, mind you, you do Triton Underwater, which you need to be level 12 to do, which is in Triton Avenue, so Homer Sunblade gives the quest. If you do both of those quests, you will be level 15 by the end of Wizard City, which is incredibly helpful in Krokotopia, where usually you're level 10 when you get to Krokotopia. If you do those two things, you'll be level 15, and then by the end, you'll be like level 23, 24. And if you keep doing side quests, you'll keep on top of that, you'll keep getting higher. If you look at my balanced Let's Play series, you'll notice that I am always a higher level, significantly, than where you normally are. So for example, right now I'm in Fort Rakius, I'm level 99. Usually, you don't get to level 99 until like 2 streets ahead of that. So I would always recommend doing side quests. I've probably gone on this tangent so many times. Do side quests, keep on top of it. It makes this game a lot easier and a lot funner, honestly. Significantly less annoying and challenging at times when you don't have to worry about the enemy feeling way too powerful for you. So those are all the basic tips and tricks I have for today. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments section. I will answer any question you have about this game. These are all recommendations for how to get through the game at an easier rate as a beginner. There are some more advanced tips for higher players that already have wizards or higher level players that will keep them on top of things. If you want to see that, let me know. But this is just a beginner's guide. This is some tips for beginners that really help you through the game. If you follow what I just said, you should have no problem getting through all of the first 5 worlds up to Malastare. Of course, if you need help with anything, there's a button in this game called Team Up. It's on each sigil. Do it. Use it to your advantage. Find someone to help you, and then power through whatever you're having trouble with. So that's it for today. If you enjoyed, please drop a like. If this has helped you in any way, also drop a like, and I'll see you in the next episode. God, I just sneezed in my outro. That sucks. I'll see you in the next episode. Have a fantastic day.